Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday the 13th. I hope you all are avoiding all black cats, walking under ladders, breaking mirrors today, and having the best Friday you could have. I got my guy, Uncle Buck, a.k.a. Drew Gann here, checking in. Uncle Buck, I heard you had a late night / early morning.
Yeah, just comes with the territory of being a Power Ranger. So, coming in a little groggy. I got more sleep than I normally do when we've got a storm come through. So I'm not here to complain. It's Friday. It's a little dreary, which does not bother me, considering I'm running on reduced sleep. So I don't mind a little rain, a little slow pace Friday. So glad to be here. It's lunchtime. It's Friday, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's going to be a jam-packed show. We got a lot of things happening in the NBA world and the sports world. So we're going to dive right in, not waste a lot of time. But before we do, I do want to talk about our partnership with Ounce of Hope. Ounce of Hope is Memphis's premier cannabis dispensary, specializing in mushroom gummies, THC seltzers, products that you need in your life to help you relax with an alcohol-free solution and hangover-free solution to your Friday night plans. They've got 2 locations here in Memphis, one at the Sanderlin Center, one on South Cooper Street. And you can always go to ounceofhope.com using the code BluffCity for 15% off your order. Your first order cannot be combined with other specials. But we appreciate Cam and the guys over at Ounce of Hope. We'll see you on the other side of the commercial.
Looking for an alternative to alcohol or conventional medicine? Check out Ounce of Hope, a Memphis-based dispensary with 2 local stores in the Sanderlin Center and on South Cooper Street. You can get all the products you need in a location convenient to you. Each store offers an intentional shopping experience with dedicated bud tenders to answer all of your questions, from product selection and mushroom blends to our personal favorite, the Delta 9 seltzers. You gotta try the Peach Buzz. Try Ounce of Hope at either one of their 2 Memphis stores or at www.ounceofhope.com for convenient products shipped right to your door. Use the promo code BluffCity for 15% off any order, excluding sale items. Cannot be used in conjunction with other promotions or discounts. One use per customer.
All right, it's Friday. It's segment number 1, which means it's the second time we get to do our new segment. We call this segment our Bucks Big 3. We do it every single Friday here on the Two Buck Sports Show on Bluff City Media's YouTube and X pages. I would like to take this time to cordially invite everybody that's watching on X to come on over to YouTube, because that's where the comments are fun and everybody hangs out. You don't want to just talk to us. You want to talk to our community, and our community is mainly in the YouTube comments. So this segment, we call it our Big 3. It's where we just pick a topic and each of us present our Big 3 in this topic, and we let you guys vote on who's got the best topic. So Rusty, tell us the topic and give us your 3.
We are a sports show, Drew. We usually talk about sports, but we also like to take a little time for buffoonery for the wags out there, the wives and girlfriends of the Two Buck Sports Show, our moms that watch it, right? So today is on brand with Friday the 13th. Today being Friday the 13th, it's the spooky season. We're halfway to Halloween almost, or roughly, I don't know. We're somewhere heading towards Halloween. And so we're going to talk about scary things. We kind of left it open-ended. It could literally be anything. And so, Drew, I set them up, you knock them down, as you famously say. What is your first scary thing in your Big 3?
Okay. Well, the first one's extremely easy for me, and you cannot relate to it. Cannot relate to it at all. But it is when your wife or partner looks at you and hands you a stick they just peed on that has 2 pink lines, and it's just like, uh-oh.
Yeah, that's
like,
terrifying.
It's like, listen, I knew we were having fun together. We were enjoying our marriage, but what did we just do?
Man, you just got to practice. You can't do like the real thing. You just got to practice.
Yeah, it's like, because like for guys, and I'm sure everybody's a little different, But primarily for guys, it immediately becomes a logistical nightmare. It's like, okay, how do we afford this? And my wife's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. As Tiger King once said, I will never financially recover from this.
And yet you've done it again and again. So here we are.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the first thing that popped in my mind. And what about you? What's your first one?
So my first one, it can be professional or personal. Either way, it's just as terrifying. When you either get an email from HR or you get a text from your significant other, all it says is, we need to talk.
Oh, that's a good one.
And it's just like your stomach drops. You start replaying, even if you've done literally nothing wrong. You're like replaying and reeling. Like, what about that? Did somebody must have really liked my joke at work because they told HR about it. Now they want to hear it, right? What did I do, on the other end in my personal life that's got my significant other upset at me? But that we need to talk message hits different.
Oh yeah, that's a real good one because it doesn't matter how good I've done at work, and I'm pretty confident in the job that I do, and I provide for Temple Electric. But if my boss texts me and is like, "Hey, come to my office," and I'm like, "Well, this is it. It's been a good run." I probably should have updated my resume, but
here's my box. Put my stuff in
it. yeah. Hey, I just go ahead and start packing up, and he's like, "I just wanted to talk about this," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I guess I can go unload my box now because I thought I was getting fired because I'm just a pessimist, I guess. So, all right, this is a funny one. And we try not to do a lot of crude humor here, but yeah. I've got to be honest with the people. Okay. And I've got an example, and I'm going to bare my soul to the audience here. Just to headline it, the fear thing is pooping in public restrooms. And my example, so I don't know, nobody I'm sure that's listening to this outside of you, Rusty, is been to Piney Grove campsite.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell the Arby's story.
Arby's. Oh no, I've told that one on here. Yeah. But that was the worker got caught pooping. But I'm sure you guys have not been to Piney Grove campsite, but it is a campsite in which the bathrooms are, public bathrooms. They don't have sewage at all the sites, and so I grew up going to this campsite, and you always had to take a hike up to the bathhouse to shower and use the bathroom. Well, we had chili the other night at my mom and dad's campsite. And I was like, well, here we go. And at Piney Grove, it's an open air kind of bathroom. There's no air conditioning, so you can kind of hear the outside, and I'm sure the outside can hear you, and that's my fear, But it's also butted up to the women's bathroom. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as I walk in here, I was like, looking around, like, okay. All right, well, I don't have a choice. Like, we're just gonna have to let her go.
We're going with
it. I'm like, okay, I think I'm in the clear. And I kind of peek my head out the door when I'm leaving, and I'm like, okay. And I promise you, Rusty, this is out of a movie. I open the door, and then my wife, the doors are facing each other to the men's and women's. As I'm walking out, so is my wife. And then she just doubles over laughing. She's like, that was you? Like, oh, no. She was like, I was trying so hard not to laugh because I didn't want anybody to feel like I was making fun of them. But
that's amazing.
I was like, nope, that I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry you had to be a part of that. That's amazing.
And I was like, I was like, I just had a ton of gas. Okay. I was like, and of course she is such a good sport, and she's like a bro when it comes to fart humor, which is great. It makes for a good laugh. Yeah. And so as soon as I walked out, we locked eyes, and she just immediately started laughing. She's like, that was you. And I was like, yes.
That's like the guy I was at the Loves in Walnut, Mississippi. If you know, I was heading home. I just had to run in and pee real quick, and I'm in there, and there's like 4 or 5 of us at the urinals, and this one guy just cuts it like an absolute alpha fart, just loud, and without missing a beat goes, "Doesn't rain without thunder, boys." And then we just kept going. So like, it felt on brand. All right, I was gonna go bathroom humor for my next, but you took the cake, so I'm gonna let you have that one. I'm gonna leave mine alone. Mine will be my honorable mention. For me, my next one, I guess it's kind of the same. This recently happened to me. where I took a big drink of milk at my dad's and like kind of like a few gulps and was like, ugh, that tasted funny. And then I pick it up and I turn around and I see the date and it's just, it's ominous. It's like, you know what? That was bad milk. I'm going to pay for this. I'm not sure when. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure which end this is coming out, but I'm going to have an issue with this milk at some point. So for me, it is seeing the date on the milk that you just tasted and it tasted funny, knowing what's coming.
Yeah. Another one kind of like that is nothing's weirder tasting than when you take a drink of something expecting it to be something else.
Oh, that's the worst.
And it's just like you're immediately like, oh, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this?
That's the
I think
worst.
that's like emotional, like scarring from when I was a kid. From my dad, like put the lid back on my McDonald's cup at the playground in McDonald's after he'd been spitting his backer in it, and he's like, "Oh, isn't it funny?"
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's just like it's like, oh god, what? spit. And it's like, oh no, it's just sweet tea, and I was expecting Sprite. Like,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
And talking about expired stuff, one of my favorite running jokes that we'd pull on my grandma, which we pull a lot of jokes on my grandma. You know, there's 4 cousins that are the first 4 grandchildren on that side were boys, and we all just kind of ran in packs like brothers. And we're always just pulling pranks on my grandma. And she's bad about going to the Benton Dent store. You know, like old people, there's pinch pennies, everything. And we just go in the back of her pantry and just see who can find the oldest out-of-date can of something. There's always like a can of corn from like 98. That like,
Mimi's house the same way.
And she's like, get out of there. It's fine. It's never been open. Quit making fun of me.
You always got to check the dates at Mimi's house because you might find a ranch dressing from the year you graduated high school in that fridge.
Yeah.
All right, what's your next one?
All right, my last one is this is more practical, and again, it relates to children, and just as you grow up and you have a big family like I have, the graph, if you're looking at a line graph, it's like the more kids you have, then the less money you have, you know, and so like the 30th of every month terrifies me because I'm like. Honey, pick up them couch cushions. We're looking for quarters.
That's good. My last one is you're driving down the interstate. Everything's going good. It's close to the 30th. You hadn't gotten paid in a while. And all of a sudden, your car makes a very expensive sounding noise that it wasn't making. Case in point, Maggie and I driving to Myrtle Beach and my wheel bearing goes out and my front tire starts wobbling and smoking. And it's like, oh, that sounds expensive. And so it's those expensive interstate noise from your car is my last and final pick.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that at all. It's just, I can't believe I didn't think about that with what I've been going through with my minivan the last 6 months. Yeah. So,
my last one, I got honorable mention, and my honorable mention, you kind of stole it, was the last time I had Taco Bell was like 2018 or 19, and I had it on a road trip to Kentucky. I was going up there for like a men's retreat. Land between the lakes, and I was just like, I had a Taco Bell in a while. I was getting gas. They had a Taco Bell, so I got a couple Choco Supreme.
Got multiple forms of gas.
And that low rumbling in your stomach where you got a business decision to make and you've got to make it quick, but there's not an exit in sight. Like I rented that Taco Bell for about 4 exits, and that was it. And naturally, it was that between that 4th and 5th exit, it seemed like 100 miles. It might have been 5. I don't know. But in that moment, I am white knuckling. I've got the sweats. Like, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, if not, like, I'm going to go just desecrate that farmer's field here in just a few minutes.
This is a good one, Wayno.
Ooh, that is a good one.
My wife is the world's worst. I got in the car. I have to store my lawnmower kind of at the front of the garage because I don't have a shed or anything. And so I have to back my wife's van out of the way to get the lawnmower out. And she had so little gas, I was scared I wouldn't get it back in the garage. It's like 2 miles still empty. And I'm like, why in the world do you do this?
Wayno, Jared, thanks for hanging out with some of the comments. If you're on X, come on over to YouTube. Comments are popping off today. Jared can relate. Like, it's like one of those things, like you're expecting Sprite and you drink sweet tea, or you expect one thing and drink another. Like, it definitely hits different.
No, I think he was talking about his wife's spittoon. His wife was spitting in the can.
Listen, he is from up around Martin, Tennessee, so that's a real thing. He went to UT Martin, so that could be a real thing. But that's enough tomfoolery for today. On the other side, we got a lot of basketball to get to.
Segment number 2 on your Friday. All right. So this is where we get past the tomfoolery and get into the just regular foolery, which is NBA or whatever the most important sport going on right now is. And unless you want to talk about hockey, we're going to talk about the NBA. We're going to talk about the NBA Finals Game 3 that just happened.
That Oilers-Panthers game last night was amazing, though. Real quick, I watched the highlights this morning on SportsCenter. Like playoff hockey's fun, man.
Yeah, well, I turned that game on. Like I said, about 10:30, I got a call from work, and I was like, okay, I'm going to have to camp out, find something on TV. Turn on YouTube TV, and it was just on. And I saw the score earlier that it was 3-0, 3-0 Florida Panthers. And then when I turned it on YouTube TV, it was in overtime. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then Edmonton ended up walking it off in an overtime.
Wow.
Playoff hockey is great. It's something that I wish I was into more, but listen, I just can't take any more sports right now.
I'm saying I got into the Preds there for a few years. I was big on the Predators there for a few years. We followed it pretty close, but I when I moved to South Carolina, it just kind of like I had enough sports to keep up with, like you said. So speaking of sports to keep up with, Drew, I think we need to start with the Ja Morant news that came out this week. I don't know if there's much to it. It could be a big nothing burger, but you sent me the tweet from one DeMichael Cole stating of the commercial appeal saying that Ja Morant is no longer being represented by Mike Miller's agency, Lift Sports Management. He had originally joined Lift in April of 2024 and is now unrepresented. So do you think is there something to this? Should we be nervous as Grizzly fans? Like what are you seeing in Ja changing or at least firing his agent?
Listen, my whole thing with Ja, it's always kind of been his company having people around him that can tell him the truth, that can tell him like, hey, you need to do this and give him good advice. So, I felt that there's been multiple instances in the last 24 months with Ja Morant where I felt like he doesn't have the person in his life to say like, hey, brother, like, keep the main thing and quit letting all this other stuff kind of get in the way of your career and your earning potential and all this. And I feel like if there's one person that should be in your corner, it's your agent, not only for his own personal benefit, but for selfish reasons too. There's nothing that Mike Miller would tell Ja Morant that should negatively impact his earning potential or his career. Like, maybe Mike Miller's a bad agent, but I just don't think that's the case. He's an up-and-coming rising superstar in this agent world, and he's a former player. I thought it was a match made in heaven. And so that's what does kind of concern me is like, what about this relationship could sour, because if you just on surface level, I was like, that's a former player. He can speak to Ja. Honestly, Mike Miller was a role player for over a decade, won championships. Like he can really pour a lot of wisdom basketball wise, not just earning potential wise.
Sure.
And I had a lot of hope for Ja Morant, knowing that Mike Miller was in his corner. And so it's the fact that this relationship only lasted a year. Like I said, it could be a big nothing burger. It could just be like differences in opinions on how to spend your money and make your money. But it is concerning to me because it's just another person that you just had to have cut ties with that I kind of respected.
I get that. I can see where some of those optics might not be great. For me, it's a nothing burger. I think like Edward's saying here, I was going to bring up Embiid. I didn't realize that about SGA, but SGA and Embiid both represent themselves, and they do that fairly well. You're able to sign deals, make money, and it may maximize your earning potential. Is that smart for a 25, 26-year-old Ja Morant? Probably not. But it also maximizes his ability because now he's not having to share that contract money with anybody else if and when he signs his new deal. Right. And so to me, I'm only nervous if we start seeing smoke signals that like something's going awry. But so far, as DeMichael talked about in this article, the Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant relationship seems stronger than ever, right? Ja came out as a proponent for T.I. being the head coach. His stats improved, as DeMichael said, when T.I. took over. I'm not going to like my mama always used to tell me growing up, Drew, I'm not going to worry about it until we have something to worry about. And to me, this seems like a big nothing burger.
Well, and it's not that I think it's a bad omen. Like, oh, this must mean that Ja is being petty or that Ja is being like anything. It's just Mike Miller was a guy that I thought would do Ja a lot of good. And
we thought that about coaches and everybody.
Year,
I mean, nobody's been able to get through to Ja. He's just an odd dude.
And so that does concern me. And, You talk about, the cut of the money, and obviously he's on a max contract with the NBA, but I'm sure that pales in comparison to what the money he's making from Nike and all these and
Mhm.
stuff, and your agent,
Fair,
all that. The
fair.
problem is with Jaws, he does have lots of endorsements and he does have a lot of money making potential outside of
Mhm.
the NBA. Is that something that you feel like you've got the bandwidth to handle? Like for me, if it's me and I've got 4 kids, I've got responsibilities, there's a lot of situations in which it's just like, okay, you can handle this. Okay, good. You handle this, you delegate this, and let the main thing be the main thing. Let me raise my kids, and that's what's important to me, providing for my family. If I needed to outsource this, then that would help me focus on my family and earning,
Maybe.
like, then great. And I feel like that's what an agent does. And when it comes to NBA money, like John Morant's going to get a max deal. Like there's not much negotiating. I feel like you're just going to get a max deal. And same way with SGA and Embiid. It's the off the court things that, and honestly, I just don't really want T Morant handling it. Like, is that bad?
And maybe that's it.
Like,
Maybe, and we don't have, obviously, you don't have inner circle knowledge. There may be somebody else. Ja is a brand. Ja Morant is a brand that's bigger than the Grizzlies. It's bigger than just an individual. And so, is this something that Ja's going to add to his repertoire? Is it going to be somebody that is he going to create his own sports agency company to try and diversify the brand that is Ja Morant? If it's T Morant that's the head of it, I don't know that I care for that. But Drew, like, again, like I don't want to, so much of our fan base is everything's up in arms. Oh my God, what's wrong with Ja Morant? Like, I don't want to be that way. I want to just say, hey, you know what? Him and Mike Miller, maybe it was mutually agreed. Maybe Ja's going to start his own career. I'm not going to go the negative route and say, oh, they had a falling out and this is bad and
right.
this is sign of things to come. Until there's something there, like he signs with a different agency or anything like that, or something changes. Even then, I don't think I'm going to be too worried about it.
This is kind of, it's me projecting a lot because I spent a lot of time on this show talking about what I would say to Ja Morant. Like, hey, it is important that you play basketball. It's important that you give 100%. You play all your games, and when it comes down to it, you may have to, play through some injuries, and it's about the team. It's about buy-in, and I was like, so it's me projecting or assuming that Mike Miller's having that same conversation with Ja Morant. Like, hey, Ja, you've got to care. We've got to play a lot of basketball here. You've got to plan to play 82 games. You've got to, not bail on your coach or not bail on your team or not give less than 100% effort. And so me projecting that, the conversation that I would have with Ja and assume Mike Miller's having that conversation is the reason why I'm like, oh, maybe that conversation didn't go well. I don't even know if that conversation happened at all.
That's it. And so again, it's a story for the offseason. It's something that happened. I'm not, as Mama Lee would always say, I'm not going to worry about it until I have something to worry about.
Yeah. I don't know if you put Edward's comment up here as I was talking.
I put the other one. I put the Whispers Team TM has something cooking. Maybe there's something there.
This would be alarming though. If he goes and flips to Clutch and Rich Paul and away from Mike Miller, it doesn't necessarily mean anything either, but Clutch always wants their guys in big markets, and I get it.
But at that point, I might start getting a little nervous in
that
my
may
belly.
Be
but until
the
then,
proof you're looking for.
Maybe. In other Grizzly news today, Doona Dotson, he is a scout and media reporter on that covers the NBA on Twitter. It is, but doing it, Dotson is his name on Twitter.
He was
Came
on
out
with
today.
Sane.
He was on with Sane this week and kind of made some rumblings that this could be coming. He kind of hinted at this on the show and then outright released an article today saying that the Memphis Grizzlies are calling about Denny Avdia of the Portland Trail Blazers, formerly of the Washington Wizards, as a potential piece that they could add around Ja, Dez, and Jaren. Based on the article that Chris wrote, it's looking more and more like Zach Kleiman is seeing the mold that he's seeing in the NBA Finals, where you don't need an absolute superstar on this team. You've got one in Ja Morant. You don't need to go get another one. You've got a great number 2 in Jaren, a good number 3 in Dez. Why not go see if you can add a fringe piece like Denny Avdia? Now, Avdia is going to command a high payday. He's around a $20 million guy, but it is a descending contract. Drew, is Denny Avdia somebody that you would want to see paired up along those guys in Memphis?
Listen, Diddy is a high IQ guy, but he's also, the thing I value about him the most is multiple times when he was playing for the Wizards and when he was playing for the Trailblazers, when the Grizzlies were playing them, he was playing harder than anybody on the court. He's got an incredible motor, and I do love that about Danny. But the more I watch this Pacers team, the more I feel like you look at what maybe like Taylor Jenkins and them wanted to do when it comes to like a deeper team, not centrically focused on John Morant, but the whole is better than the sum of its parts kind of organization,
like the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, exactly. And so with that being the case, if that's the avenue that you're looking at and that's the model you're trying to find now, like Denny Avdia is a guy that's going to play a lot of minutes. He's going to play really hard. I like it. If it's the only move you make, I don't know that it's going to be enough to like excite me and expect, second or Western Conference Finals, second round or Western Conference Finals next year. But I do like Denny Avdia, and it's because of his motor. And I feel like this team missed a motor.
And so for me, it is the needle mover. I don't know that it takes us all the way to the NBA Finals, but I do think we're a better team with Denny Avdia, especially if you can make a deal work where you can keep your core three still available. So the one unconfirmed proposal that Dodson reported would have Portland receiving Brandon Clark, Gigi Jackson, a 2026 first round protected, and a 2028 first round pick swap protected, and second round picks in 25 and 27.
How many years is on his contract?
I can look that up. Why don't you look that up? Because I'll talk about that for a second. That's a steep asking price, but what that tells me is that's what Portland values him at. And then Parker Fleming, Paka Flocka on Twitter just a few minutes ago posted several articles written by some of the Trailblazers beat guys and how much they value and like Denny Avdia in Portland. I think that's going to be I think that's awful steep for Denny Avdia, even on a descending deal, even if it's a short-term deal. That feels pretty steep. But again, putting him on a starting lineup with Ja, Dez, Jalen, Denny Avdia, and Jaren, and then you could still have, Vince if he turns it around, Scottie Pippen Jr. and Zach Edey coming off the bench, to me feels like a team that could be competitive in a deep Western Conference.
Yeah, so Denny Avdia's contract, he signed a 4-year deal going into the 24-25 season, this current season, or the season that's starting to end now. So you would have him making 14.3 in this upcoming season, 13.1, 26-27, and 11.8 in 27-28 before
he's cheaper than I thought it was.
Unrestricted free agency. So, but you're going to have to pay up for a good contract. Like that's a good contract. And so if you ask me if it's too much, a first round pick swap, a first round pick, Brandon Clark and Gigi Jackson
and 2 seconds.
And 2 seconds, like that seems like a lot for Denny Avdia. If you could sweeten the pot with, I don't know, some flyer, that you've got on your team, then great. But that's a pretty tall ask, but I do love Denny Avdia as a player.
I do too, and the more I don't let me sit here and talk myself into it, because the more I'm sitting here thinking about it, I don't hate it, especially if you could sprinkle in get us some big help, not DeAndre Ayton. I see that in there, Edward. I see that.
Get
Robert
Williams.
That would be the other one. If we did that deal and we got Denny Avdia and Robert Williams back, I would be happy about that.
The thing about Portland is they ended their season really well, and so I expect them to be better. You've got Shaedon Sharpe that's a year older. You've got Scoot Henderson that's a year older. I mean, I like Portland going forward.
Another name that keeps coming up that has come up over the years for Grizzlies is Jeremy Grant. Is that somebody that you would entertain alongside Denny Avdia in this deal?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a vet for sure. A big wing. I'm all in on big wings at this point. You look at what Indiana and Oklahoma City have. They're the final 2 teams here for a reason, and it's because they've got big wings, athletic wings that can all shoot and all defend. And so, anybody that can do that, I'm all in for.
And there are some injury issues with Robert Williams, that's for sure, and with Jeremy Grant. Both of them have an injury past. But hey, welcome to Memphis. We all do.
You can sit over there with Zach Edey.
That's it. color me intrigued though. Like I like this. This is something that I'm going to put an asterisk on and watch this summer, because this is a deal that I would be a fan of, because it keeps our core three together and it makes us better. Because Denny Abdia can go on a heater, and if you can throw in a big help, again, we don't need somebody that's going to play 70 games at the center, but if you can give me somebody that can be a piecemeal center with Jaren kind of along the way, then I think we'll be fine until Zach Edey comes back in December.
Yeah, and Art says Tumari Kamara.
Yeah.
There's no way they're getting off him.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I
would love. I would. I'd really phone you up if you could get both Avia and Kamara, but there's no way.
I mean, I would throw. Yeah, I think I might mortgage a little bit more, maybe one more player in there and see if we can make that work. But Drew, we do have a basketball game tonight to talk about. The NBA Finals Game 4 tonight. The referees have been announced, and so I hope that y'all are ready for a rhythmless, diabolical performance from SGA, the most unethical hooper in the NBA, as one Scott Foster is the lead official tonight with Josh Tibbett and Sean Wright. Drew, the Thunder are kind of back against the wall, really. I mean, of the two teams, like, Indiana needs to win tonight, because if you go back 2-2 to Oklahoma City, it's going to be hard to beat Oklahoma City in a 3-game series with two of them in Oklahoma City. Somebody, I think it was Art when he came in. Art, thanks for being here. Edward, Jared, Wayno, thanks for hanging out with us today. This feels like, could it be a Halliburton statement game? Because the Pacers absolutely need to win tonight in order to keep serve. Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get off the ship now. I said after game 1, Indiana's win in game 1, that they had to win game 2 or both 3 and 4. And I do believe that you have to absolutely win game. I think game 4 is a must win for both teams. I don't think that, Indiana is still not the favorite to win this NBA championship, despite being up 2-1. And I don't think Indiana beats Oklahoma City 2 out of 3, with both games being with 2 of the 3 games being in Oklahoma City. And I don't think Oklahoma City beats Indiana 3 times in a row if they lose tonight. This is a massive, massive game tonight in which I believe Indiana has to win.
Agreed. And so Edward asked, what's the Thunder's record with Scott Foster on the course? So in this NBA playoffs, they are 2-0, both wins coming by 40+ points.
Oh, geez.
Overall, they are 6-10 all time with Scott Foster on the whistle. Drew, I agree.
They don't call him the extender for nothing.
It feels like Adam Silver has gone to the bullpen, tapped the arm, and said, hey, we need this series to go 7. And I think that if Oklahoma City wins tonight, then I think it can go 7, right? You go back, Oklahoma City wins. The Pacers win game 6. You got a winner take all game 7 in Oklahoma City, which we know the Thunder will win by a whole bunch. But if somehow the Pacers can find a way to win tonight, the Pacers in 6 feels very, very promising when they come back after that Oklahoma City game. But it's going to be an uphill battle with Scott Foster on the whistle, refereeing an SGA game.
I love seeing the NBA playoffs are great for a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons, in my opinion, is that it's played on home courts. And I don't like neutral sites. I don't like them in football. I like basketball in the NBA because it's played on home courts. And I would love nothing more than for Indiana to have a chance to clinch an NBA Finals in Indianapolis. That would be poetic, to be underdogs all series, all postseason long. To just, they have not even had a series that's gone 6 games yet, have they? Well, the Knicks, did the Knicks, that was just 1 series ago. I should remember this. Was that in 5 or 6? That was in 6.
6.
Yeah.
It was in 6.
And for them to go and win against the Oklahoma City Thunder, in which there's never been a bigger underdog, just in narratively speaking, that would be great to win that in 6 in Indiana.
It would be fun, and nothing would make me happier than watching Oklahoma City absolutely poop the bed after having a 14-loss regular season, dominating all the way through, to get beat in the NBA Finals. And I would love it if it was Pacers in 5 on Oklahoma City's court. But there is nothing better, like you said, Drew, than winning on your home court and sealing the deal there. I think the Pacers can do it. They keep getting these role player games, right? Like it's been Nembhard. It was Mathurin the other night. He was so good. There's just been, Neesmith has had big games. Obi Toppin with the big putback dunks and rebounds. So
that was amazing. That putback dunk.
It was electric, man. Electric. And so I think if the Pacers can get another one of those tonight, like again, that feels like a tall task, counting on your role players. But I feel like that's what they need. The Thunder have keyed in on Hallie, and they've slowed him down. Now, Hallie was better in game 3 than he was in either of the first 2, but they're still slowing him down. Siakam was back with 21 and 6. But if the Pacers role players can keep this up, and it doesn't have to be all of them, maybe tonight is the TJ McConnell game. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that tonight is the TJ McConnell game, and he is the role player that gives them some big threes late. And I want to say the Pacers win, and we go back to Oklahoma City 3-1. It's probably the kiss of death, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm all in on this game tonight. Cannot wait. This series has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's been great basketball. I hope Scott Foster doesn't ruin it for us tonight because it has been fun to watch, but hopefully we'll get good basketball. Drew, but speaking of basketball, we got basketball tonight. We got stuff going on this weekend. We're going to hit y'all up with what we got going on before we talk again.
Segment number 3, the comments over Grizz Bear here. Grizz has got the comments.
Sorry, comments. Yeah,
we took him away.
Comments. We got to see the Grizz. That's a shout out to Grok on Twitter for making that for me.
Yeah. Listen, before we talk again, I'm going to watch a basketball game tonight. I'm going to try my best to watch some college baseball this weekend and do nothing else. We have been wide open with ball tournaments and everything else, man. I just hope to not do much of anything.
Yeah, so it's been a wild week for me, and if you know, it's definitely been a trying week. So I'm looking forward to kind of a quiet weekend. Like you said, college basketball or baseball is in Omaha. It's the first time since 1957 that we didn't have a repeat team from the previous year, which is amazing. I'm all in on the Chanticleers. CCU shants up from Conway, South Carolina. I hope I predicted on Twitter that it would be, or on our last show on Wednesday, that it would be the Chanticleers versus the LSU Tigers in the finals. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to watch some college baseball. My roommate and I might do a little bit of like brewery hopping tomorrow. Maggie's got to work, so there's a cool brewery tour. There's like buses that are going to be running all day long here in Memphis, taking you to the different breweries and stops. So we're going to hit up a few of those tomorrow. And then Sunday is Father's Day. Drew, happy early Father's Day. Wayno, happy early Father's Day. Anybody else in the comments are watching, happy early Father's Day. I love my dad. I look up to him. I'm a big proponent of obviously having a dad in your life because I had a great one in my life and he took care of me and I look up to him for a lot of things he did for me when I was younger. So I'm going to go see him on Sunday and just have a quiet, relaxing weekend is kind of the plan. So
it sounds like a good plan to have. The only thing that can interfere with my plans is the New York Knicks calling and asking to interview me.
Since they're calling everybody else, I heard that Coach Carter, King Meek said he just interviewed earlier today in the comments. Like they are desperately grasping at straws because it looks like Taylor Jenkins is firmly back in their sights again.
I see old Measy Peasy in here, big UT fan. The New York Knicks coaching situation is looking a lot like they're going to end up with Josh Heupel in that coaching search. Because everybody tells you no, and they're like, well, we're going to go get Taylor Jenkins.
I guess so. Well, that's going to do it for your Friday edition of the $2 Sports Show. Comments were popping as always. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Check out Ounce of Hope, Bluff City for 15% off your order there. Go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And Drew, there are no refunds for what you heard on the $2 Sports Show.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Hope everybody has a good weekend, and we will see you on Monday.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page, like this video, and leave a comment. We will see you back here in a few days.